because the proposal is where you have a goal for your book. Like, what do I want this book to do? Why do I want to write this book? And when you get that accomplished, then your whole book will be a gazillion times easier to write. It won't be just this huge mess of ramblings. If that makes any sense. So, and writing a proposal, there's a way to do it, and there's things to know to do. And then after you write the dang thing, oh my gosh, the worst part of writing a book is getting it published. It is so hard your first time, but do not give up. Don't give up when you get to that point, because it's totally worth it. When that first person calls you and thanks you in tears for what you've done for them or whatever. Or, I had my gratification for writing my book just because of how I felt when I was done. And my husband read it 7 times, and he is so grateful that I wrote the book, because it's taught him a lot about our relationship too. And just that, like, write the book just for yourself, and it'll be worth going through the nightmare of getting it published. It's so easy to independently publish your book through somebody nowadays, that you don't have to worry about pitching it to, one of the big publishing houses and get rejected by 13,000 people before somebody finally says yes. And that's kind of what I think makes most people shy away from the idea of writing a book, is because they're like, well, nobody's going to want to read it. Who's going to want to publish it, and all of that malarkey. And that doesn't even matter anymore, because it's super easy to, I just told you it's the hardest thing ever, but you can do it. It's just like, there's a lot of steps. Okay, so I studiously avoided everything to do with computers and tech my entire life until 2.5 years ago. And so I've had a lot of growing to do. And so every step of the way was just a big learning experience for me. And, I'd get stuck a lot and want to throw my computer out the window and stuff. But it everybody who goes through the process that I went through has a struggle with it for some reason. I have lots of friends that are in my group of people that were trained by this. It's actually a publisher that trained us all how to write a book. And I have tons of friends in my group, and every single one of them had glitches going through the publishing process. So it's hard, but anybody could do it, is what I'm saying. If I could do it, literally anybody could do it, because yeah, I'm a piece of work. So.
There's a lot of people out there, especially in the addiction world, that think, man, I could come together and write a book. And I think it'd be interesting.
They have a story to tell, yes, and there's so many people who need to hear that story. I was so proud of you, you and Andy, when you were talking. I just heard that podcast this morning. I think you recorded it yesterday, but this morning I was really proud of Andy for he was so real and so forthcoming with a lot of painful stuff. I just was really impressed with how open and honest, and how much he explained, how useful a lot of what he went through is going to be for me and your listeners. Like, I got a lot out of it. But there was one part that I started to just get a little bit worried that you guys were going to launch into the medical community, and how the drug companies and the doctors, they know exactly what they're doing, getting all kinds of people strung out on drugs, and how evil it is. And I've been on my soapbox about that too. And I was just proud of you guys for not blaming. That's so hard to get out of, feeling like somebody's got to be blamed. This is my circumstance. It happened to me. I'm a victim. I can't do anything about it. And just you guys, you and Andy, have just both overcome that tendency, or that, place, so that you can just take responsibility for your own journey right now, and just do it. Do all the things. You guys are amazing. And everybody who goes through recovery, even people that are in recovery, even people that are, I mean, we're all in recovery, even people who are just beginning, like you were just beginning just, a year and a half ago or whatever. And even people in that place who still fall off the wagon or whatever it's called, they're still capable of contributing to the world and finding other people to help. Like they can coach, or they can write a book, or they can, build a support group in town, or, just talk to other people. And the world needs you guys, because there's so many people that are still in the system, still suffering so much because of our Western medicine Band-Aid approach to medicine, instead of healing people and helping them to realize, yeah, you could be uncomfortable and it's not going to kill you. And so anyway.
Just worrying about what other people think about us. And it gets to a point where it's beyond, that it gets to the point where it's life or death. But, at first, we don't want people to know, and we want to keep it a secret. And as long as nobody knows, and that's fine. And then, especially with drinking, people do know. It's just I put the blinders on, and I think they don't. I had a friend reach out to me from high school, and it was about a month or two ago. And he was like, hey, man, this is what's going on, and I've been using for a long time. I see that you're all about it, like I need help. And, I told him, I was like, you don't have to be ashamed, man. And he kept saying he was such a bad person and horrible. And I'm like, no, you're not, man. I was like, it's an addiction, and it beats you up, and it chews you up and spits you out, and it's cool. It sounds like you want to be done with it, So I kind of pointed him in some right directions, and, and then some bad things happened to him with his job. And he was like, I was trying to do the right thing. And, well, you still are. It's just God didn't have that in your plan, man. It's all figured out already for you. You just have to go through the motions. Like in my opinion, God has a plan for all of us, and the fact that he is clean now and struggling, it's a good sign. And not that I want to see people struggle, but that's part of the journey that God has for him. And. Yeah. The devil's ready for him, and, ready to tempt him with some more. He could turn and do drugs right now. He'd still be miserable because he's still going to be in the same situation. It's just he might be high for a few hours, but yeah, it's moments like that it just really hits home to just think, okay, well, we don't have to beat ourselves up. We can be proud to talk about we're in recovery, and, to blame everybody for where we're at doesn't really solve it. It would just have to have acceptance that we are in the place where we're supposed to be. And, my grandma always told me that she hated rock music, and that's the stations I always worked for. And she was like, one day, honey, God has a plan, and he's going to put you on something, and you're going to help people. And, I even tried reaching out to Christian radio stations at one point, and they were like, no, we're not touching you, bro. But they're like, no, not our flavor. But
funny.
Yeah, but God works in mysterious ways, and here I am, doing something that I absolutely love, helping other people, and it's just it's good. It feels good. It really does.
Yeah.
But Jill, I thank you so much for coming on, Jill Armijo.
Thank you for letting me get to know you better. It's been great for me. Appreciate it.
Yeah, well, I'll reach out, and we'll get you on again sometime in the future for sure.
I'd look forward to that.
All right, Jill. Thanks again.
Okay, thanks, Corey. Have a good one.
You too.
Bye.
And that's Jill Armijo. Armijo. She said it at the beginning. Armijo. It's Armijo. Jill, obviously Jill. But look her up. Very interesting woman. You can read a little bit about her and then get her book. I can't wait. I'm going to email her and ask her for a free copy because, well, that's what radio people do. We always get the free stuff. But I really do appreciate having Jill on the show, and the fact that she, heard our podcast and reached out. It's very cool. So thanks, Jill, and we will have you on again soon. If you don't have our app yet, you should get it, especially because I'm taking coding classes this semester in school. So It'll be looking pretty fly. But it's in the Google Play Store right now for Android, and we're still waiting for word on when it's going to be in the App Store. So if you got an Apple, it should be like in a week or so. But yeah, download the app and you can listen to the podcast. Oh, and if you didn't read my blog from yesterday, you should do that. Talk about perfect timing. I was getting ready to write I guess No, I'm going to save the story. I'll save this story for Thursday. So give you something to look forward to. All right, a great story coming Thursday. I'll talk to you then.